welcome to Mr. Otter Studio. Today I'm going to be giving you a quick introduction to acrylic basics for beginners. I like to use them because they dry a lot faster than oils. I also like to use them because they don't have toxic fumes, and I also like that I can just use water to wash off my brushes. Experiment and see what you like, but that's why I choose to use acrylics. You can buy all sorts of acrylic paints. You can buy paints like this. You can buy acrylics like this. These, I don't know if I would call them professional grade. Sometimes if I'm painting a mural, I will just buy house paint. For students, I would always buy Dick Blick acrylic. It was called Blickrylic. For a student grade paint, it was excellent. Brushes, you need to use stiffer brushes. I tend to like to use brushes that I can use with watercolor and acrylics. So I just use these mixed synthetic brushes. I'll usually use a large flat brush or sometimes a filbert, and then a small round for details. Lately I have been painting more with this, which is like a spatula, but I absolutely love the effect that it has. Now what can you paint on? Well, you can paint on all sorts of things. I just go to the same place where I buy some of my paints for my murals, and they sell these Masonite boards that look like this. This is the back side, this is the front side. Usually they're really nice and they will cut it for me. So I just have them cut it into the size of whatever I want to be painting. I would use gesso, G-E-S-S-O, to paint it first to kind of prepare the surface. If you want to stretch your own canvases, you need to prepare the canvas with gesso, unless you want your paint to bleed into it. There are artists that don't prepare it. What do you paint on? I use glass plates and then I just wash them off after. So I just use plates and then I just wash them off each time. The last two things you need are water and a cloth or paper towels, but I like to just use a rag because it absorbs the paint a little bit more. And I would wear some kind of apron. Now here are some quick tips. So acrylics dry really fast, so if you're trying to blend something, what you want to do is have your colors mix pretty quickly so that you can blend them together while they're both still wet. Also, sometimes I like to paint a background color, and here's a really awesome thing about acrylics. So if you've painted it, the layer underneath is dry and you start adding something on top of it, but you don't like what you've done, you can actually take your paper towel and wipe it off really quick, and it shouldn't disturb the layer underneath if it's dry. You can thin acrylics with water and paint kind of transparently with them, kind of like watercolors. So those are some basic tips with acrylics. The one thing also I want to say is with watercolor, I generally paint from light to dark, and with acrylics, is block in your big colors first, and then you can start adding the highlights and the shadows and the in-between colors, and very, very last you want to add your details. Wash these out of your clothes if they get on them because they will stain, and take good care of your brushes. After you're done with them, what you want to do is get a little soap, put it in your hand, and swirl the brush around in it. Rinse it out in water until it's clear. Reform your brush. Someone actually gave me this tip on our YouTube channel. They said, don't put it back in the jar upright. Never store them upside down. If you store them upright right after you wash them, that water can tend to run down in here, and there's glue in here holding these bristles in, and your bristles will fall out. Lay it flat to dry and then put it back in whatever you store your brushes in. There are the basics. So now let's try painting. You can click on this link if you want to see how to do it.